Hello and welcome. My name is Lena Ackerman. I'm an attorney with NYSET's Office of General Counsel. Today we're going to discuss the rights and protections available to members of the LGBTQ+ community. Let's start by looking at the protections available to you as educators, and then we'll examine how you can support and protect your students. Employee protections. Now, before we dive into specific laws, let's understand the different types of discrimination you could encounter. There are four main types we need to discuss. First is what we call disparate treatment. This means intentional employment actions taken because of someone's membership in a protected class. In plain terms, your employer cannot discriminate in hiring, firing, promotion, demotion, pay, assignments, discipline, or other conditions of employment based on your membership in the LGBTQ+ community. The second type is disparate impact. Even when policies seem neutral on their face, they can still have harmful consequences. For example, a policy requiring people to use the bathroom corresponding with their sex at birth might seem neutral, but it can disproportionately impact transgender employees. Third, we need to talk about hostile work environment. These claims involve unwelcome conduct based on a protected identity that makes it uncomfortable to work. What does this look like? It could be bullying, intimidation, offensive comments, unwanted touching, or even violence. Under federal law, this conduct must be severe or pervasive to establish a claim. And finally, there's retaliation. This happens when an employer takes adverse actions against an employee after they've made a complaint about discrimination or participated in another employee's discrimination proceedings. Retaliation can include obvious things like demotions or firing, but it also covers harassment, intimidation, or other negative employment actions. Federal employee protections. Let's walk you through your key protections under federal law. At the federal level, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 makes it unlawful for employers with 15 or more employees to discriminate on the basis of sex. And in 2020, the Supreme Court expanded this protection in a case called Bostock v. Clayton County to include sexual orientation and gender identity. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, or EEOC, enforces Title VII. They've made it clear that you have the right to use the bathroom and style of dress that aligns with your gender identity. You also have the right to use your preferred name and pronouns. While accidental misgendering doesn't violate the law, intentional and repeated misgendering is unlawful. State employee protections. Here in New York, under our state laws, you have even stronger protections. New York State human rights law applies to all employers, regardless of size, and prohibits discrimination based on actual or perceived sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression. The key difference in state and local law is that you don't need to prove harassment qualified as what we call severe or pervasive to take action. Even less serious instances of discriminatory behavior are prohibited. Also, unlike federal law, state and local law allows for individual liability, meaning you can bring claims against specific individuals who discriminated against you, not just your employer. Examples of discrimination. Let me give you some real-world examples of what prohibited discrimination looks like. Firing a woman upon discovering she's married to another woman. Denying parental leave when a same-sex partner gives birth while providing it to others. A supervisor repeatedly misgendering an employee after they've made their pronouns clear. Enforcing dress codes that require men to wear ties or women to wear skirts. Making derogatory comments about someone's gender identity. Firing an employee for announcing plans to transition. Paying LGBTQ+ and cis-straight employees differently for the same work. Regular use of offensive slurs or making hurtful jokes about someone's identity. If you've experienced any of these situations or similar discriminatory treatment, there are specific steps you should take. Taking action. First, document everything. Write down dates, times, what happened, and who was involved. Keep records of any related communications. Next, contact your union representative. But know that there are time limits for filing complaints, so you need to act quickly. You have 180 days for federal claims or 300 days if you're also claiming a violation of state law. You don't have to suffer in silence, so please don't wait to reach out. If we identify discrimination, we can first try to resolve the issue by working directly with your employer, explaining the law, and recommending changes. If your employer isn't willing to address the situation, NYSET's representatives and attorneys can help you file a formal complaint under federal, state, or local law. Student protections. Now let's turn to protecting our students, the mission of all educators and something we take extremely seriously at NYSUT. Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972 bans discrimination on the basis of sex in public schools, and this includes sexual orientation and gender identity. New York's Dignity for All Students Act, known as DASA, requires school districts to work to reduce discrimination, harassment, and bullying in schools. So what does that mean for your students? Well, it means they have the right to wear clothes that conform with their gender identity, speak out about LGBTQ+ issues, be out or not out as they choose, start affinity and support groups, use their preferred name and pronouns, have their privacy protected, including about their identity. Remember, schools even need to respect student privacy by not revealing their gender identity to parents without permission. Supporting students. If you see a student experiencing discrimination or harassment, as an educator, you must take action. Document the incident, report it through proper channels, and remember that student privacy must be protected. Your school's DASA coordinator is an important resource in these situations. Facing discrimination because of who you are can be incredibly challenging and upsetting. No one should have to go through it alone. Remember, your local union, NYSUT, and our Office of General Counsel are here to provide education, support, advocacy, and protection. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your dedication to creating inclusive schools where everyone can thrive.